Imagine being told that something monumental is about to happen, a moment that will test your faith, shake your understanding, and reveal truths long hidden. How would you prepare? Would fear paralyze you, or would trust in God's sovereignty lead you to embrace the challenge? These questions resonate deeply in moments of uncertainty, reminding us that God's warnings are not meant to frighten, but to awaken and guide us. In this reflection, we'll explore the profound message of a divine warning, a call to vigilance, trust, and action. By delving into biblical principles, real-life examples, and personal insights, we aim to uncover how such messages invite transformation and renewal. This journey will provide not only understanding, but also practical ways to respond with unwavering faith. God's message begins with urgency. Be on alert, because something very unusual and serious is about to unfold. This warning sets the tone for a spiritual and relational awakening. The shaking described is not merely physical, but deeply spiritual, designed to challenge foundations and reveal hidden truths. Key aspects of the warning. Revelation of hidden truths. God promises to unveil secrets within close relationships, particularly within families. These revelations, though unsettling, are intended to bring healing and clarity. The role of shaking. Like an earthquake testing the stability of structures, this shaking examines the foundations of faith, relationships, and understanding. It reveals what is strong and purifies what is weak. Spiritual protection. Angels are depicted as warriors, ready to guard and guide during this transformative period. Their presence emphasizes God's active role in the process. These elements remind us that God's warnings are not meant to instill fear, but to prepare us for growth and renewal. To fully grasp the impact of such divine interventions, let's explore stories that illustrate how hidden truths and spiritual refinement bring transformation. Story 1. A family restored. A woman once discovered that her spouse had been keeping a painful secret. At first, the revelation shattered her trust, but through prayer and divine guidance, she found the strength to forgive. This act of grace not only healed her heart, but also brought her family closer than ever before. The process was challenging, yet it refined their relationship, making it stronger and more rooted in faith. Story 2. Joseph's forgiveness, Genesis 45. The story of Joseph and his brothers is a biblical example of how truth, though painful, can lead to restoration. After being sold into slavery by his brothers, Joseph rose to power in Egypt. When the truth of their betrayal was revealed, Joseph chose forgiveness over bitterness. His faith in God's plan transformed a family broken by deceit into one united by love and redemption. In moments of upheaval, Psalm 91 offers comfort. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. This declaration underscores God's unwavering protection. Practical applications. Declare God's promises. Speak verses like Psalm 91 verse 4. He shall cover you with his feathers. Over your life. These declarations align your spirit with God's truth and dispel fear. Build a prayer routine. Regular prayer strengthens your connection to God and prepares your heart for challenges. Incorporate gratitude and specific requests for guidance. Community support. Engage with faith-based groups to share experiences and find encouragement. Fellowship can be a source of strength during difficult times. God's sovereignty assures us that no weapon formed against us will prosper. Isaiah 54:17. Even when we face uncertainty, His plans are for good, offering hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. As we reflect on the message and stories shared, several lessons emerge. Trust in God's plan. Even in the shaking, God's purpose is to refine and strengthen us. His love is the anchor that holds us steady. The power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not just an act of grace, but a key to personal freedom and restoration. It allows God's healing to flow into broken relationships. Preparation. Through faith, vigilance in prayer, and a commitment to God's word equip us to face challenges with courage and clarity. This shaking is not the end but a new beginning. Embrace it as an opportunity to grow in faith, strengthen your relationships, and experience God's transformative power. Remember, the unveiling of truth, though difficult, is a step toward healing and restoration. Reflect on your own life and relationships. Are there hidden truths or unresolved issues that need God's light? Take time to pray, declaring God's promises over your circumstances. Share this message with someone who may need encouragement and remind them of God's unfailing love. God's warning is a divine invitation to step into a season of transformation. It is a call to trust, forgive, and align ourselves with His purpose. As we face the shaking, let us hold on to the assurance that God's plans are always for our good. Together, let us walk boldly into the future, grounded in faith and covered by His unshakable love. This is where our story begins, not in fear, but in anticipation of a divine unveiling. Life's challenges often feel like storms that threaten to uproot everything we hold dear. Consider the story of a young man named Ethan. He was deeply devoted to his family and worked tirelessly to provide for them. Yet, behind closed doors, cracks were forming in his closest relationships. Misunderstandings, unspoken grievances, and buried secrets festered like hidden wounds. One day, Ethan received shocking news about a family member, a revelation that turned his world upside down. At first, it felt like betrayal. But as the truth came to light, Ethan realized it wasn't about broken trust. It was about hidden pain coming to the surface, begging for healing. This storm, though painful, was a catalyst for growth. It forced Ethan to confront uncomfortable truths and ultimately led to deeper understanding and reconciliation within his family. Lesson: storms in our lives are not meant to destroy us but to refine us. They uncover what's hidden, giving us a chance to rebuild stronger foundations. The text speaks of a spiritual shaking, one that challenges what we perceive as stable. This resonates with countless stories from history and everyday life. For example, imagine a trusted friend revealing a long-hidden truth that changes your perception of them. Initially, this can feel like the ground beneath your feet is crumbling. But as the dust settles, you may find that the relationship is stronger for having faced the truth. Take the example of historical figures who faced upheavals. Nelson Mandela endured decades of imprisonment, yet emerged not bitter, but refined, a leader ready to bring unity to a divided nation. His story teaches us that the shaking of our personal or collective foundations can lead to profound transformation. The narrative highlights the role of divine guidance and protection during times of upheaval. This reminds me of a story shared by a woman named Clara. She was navigating a challenging period in her life, overwhelmed by health issues and financial struggles. One night, feeling utterly lost, she prayed for a sign. The next morning, a stranger handed her a small book with the words, Psalm 91, Trust in His Protection. Clara took this as a divine message. Over time, she found strength in the Psalm's words, realizing that even in her darkest moments, she was not alone. Her faith became a shield, and opportunities began to unfold, helping her rebuild her life. Lesson: in our moments of vulnerability, guidance often comes in unexpected ways. The key is to remain open and receptive. As the story unfolds, the importance of forgiveness becomes clear. Forgiveness is not about condoning harm, but about freeing ourselves from the weight of resentment. Consider the story of Marie, who discovered a painful family secret that had been hidden for decades. At first, she was consumed by anger, but through counseling and faith, she found the strength to forgive. not for the other person's sake, but for her own peace. Marie's forgiveness transformed her family dynamics. What once felt like an irreparable breach became an opportunity for deeper connection and understanding. Lesson: forgiveness is a path to healing and liberation. It's through forgiveness that we break free from the chains of the past. The journey of shaking, unveiling, and refinement ultimately leads to restoration. This is a recurring theme across cultures and religions. The idea that trials are a precursor to renewal. In the biblical story of Job, for instance, Job loses everything but remains steadfast in his faith. In the end, his life is restored, and he gains a deeper understanding of divine purpose. In our lives, restoration might look like mended relationships, newfound clarity, or an unshakable sense of self-worth. It's the realization that even in our lowest moments, we are being guided toward a greater good. The text vividly describes angels as warriors and protectors. While this imagery may be symbolic for some, it highlights the idea that we are never alone in our struggles. Whether you interpret angels as divine beings, supportive friends, or inner resilience, their presence reminds us of the power of collective and spiritual support. This journey, marked by shaking, unveiling, and refinement, is not easy. But it's through these processes that we discover our strength, our faith, and our purpose. As we close this chapter, I leave you with these questions to ponder. What truths in your life need to be unveiled? What relationships need forgiveness and healing? How can you anchor yourself in faith during times of uncertainty? Remember, every storm has its purpose, every truth has its time, and every journey leads us closer to the person we are meant to become. Trust the process, embrace the unveiling, and step boldly into the restoration that awaits. Have you ever had a moment where you felt there was more to life than what meets the eye? Perhaps a stirring in your heart during a quiet evening, a sudden realization in the chaos of daily life, or an inexplicable sense of connection to something greater. These moments are not coincidences, but whispers of a profound truth waiting to be unveiled. In this video, we embark on a journey to uncover that truth, a truth about your divine purpose, your identity, and the extraordinary plan crafted for you since the dawn of time. Stay with us, and by the end of this exploration, you will walk away with revelations that could forever change your perspective on life and your place in the universe. For too long, we live under the illusion that the reality we see is all there is. The original message speaks of how our physical senses provide only a fraction of the full picture. This resonates deeply in today's world, where distractions abound. Social media, career pursuits, and material ambitions can often cloud our perception of what truly matters. But what if we paused for a moment? What if we dared to look beyond the surface? Imagine a busy mother juggling work, family, and personal dreams. Every day feels like a race, but then one evening, as she tucks her child into bed, the child asks, "Mom, what makes you happy?" That simple question triggers a realization. She has been so caught up in doing that she has forgotten the essence of being. This aligns with the video's invitation to pause and reflect on our divine purpose. When we pause, we give ourselves the chance to connect with the deeper truths that remind us we are more than our daily roles and responsibilities. The video speaks of our eternal nature and divine essence. It challenges us to see beyond our struggles and limitations, understanding that we are not merely flesh and blood, but radiant sparks of divine energy. Consider the story of John, a man who spent years battling addiction. For him, life seemed like a series of endless defeats. One day, while attending a support group, he heard the words, "You are more than your mistakes." That moment marked the beginning of his transformation. John realized his identity wasn't defined by his past, but by his potential to rise above it. In a similar vein, the message reminds us that no matter our circumstances, we are chosen and loved, with a purpose far greater than we can imagine. Recognizing this truth empowers us to break free from the chains of doubt and fear, stepping into the fullness of who we are meant to be. The message highlights a cosmic battle between light and darkness, urging us to stand firm against the lies and doubts sown by the enemy. In our daily lives, this battle often manifests as inner conflicts, fear, self-doubt, and the temptation to give up. Take Sarah, a young entrepreneur who struggled with imposter syndrome. Every time she achieved something significant, she questioned her worth. But when she started journaling affirmations rooted in her faith, she began to see herself through a new lens. "I am equipped," she would write. "I am chosen. I am not alone." The transformation was gradual, but profound. Sarah's journey mirrors the encouragement in the message to resist discouragement, hold fast to the truth, and trust that we are surrounded by divine protection and guidance. One of the most striking elements of the message is its emphasis on the divine purpose behind our relationships. Think about the people in your life, friends, family, mentors, and even those who have hurt you. Each plays a role in shaping your journey. For example, consider David and Michael, childhood friends who drifted apart after a misunderstanding. Years later, they reconnected during a chance meeting at a conference. Through their conversation, David realized that Michael's earlier criticism had been rooted in care, not malice. That meeting became a turning point for David, helping him to pursue a career path he had been hesitant to embrace. This story illustrates how every interaction, even the painful ones, can carry deeper meaning. The video encourages us to view our relationships with compassion and discernment, understanding that each person is part of a greater plan. Painful relationships can leave us questioning our worth. The message reassures us that even in the hurt, there is divine purpose. Consider Maria, who endured a toxic relationship that left her feeling broken. Through prayer and reflection, she began to see the situation from a higher perspective. She recognized the lessons it taught her about self-respect and boundaries. Maria's healing journey reflects the transformative power of truth and the peace that comes with understanding. As we reach the end of this exploration, let's reflect on the key lessons from the message. Pause and listen. Take moments to step away from the noise and connect with the divine whispers guiding your life. Embrace your identity. You are more than your struggles or achievements. Your true worth lies in your eternal nature and divine purpose. Stand firm in the battle. Resist fear and discouragement, trusting in the divine protection and guidance surrounding you. Find meaning in relationships. See every relationship as part of a divine tapestry, woven with purpose and intention. Seek eternal values. Shift your focus from worldly pursuits to the things that hold lasting significance: love, truth, and faith. Now it's your turn. Will you take the step to uncover your divine purpose? Will you rise to the calling placed upon your life? The choice is yours. But remember, you are never alone in this journey. The divine presence is with you every step of the way, ready to reveal the secrets of the kingdom and guide you to a life of fulfillment and joy. Stay tuned for more revelations, and don't forget to share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. Together, let's explore the extraordinary truths that await us. Have you ever felt an unexplainable stirring deep within your spirit, a whisper that seems to call you towards something greater? Imagine this. In the unseen realms, angels stand poised, armies of light prepared to defend you. Archangel Michael himself, the guardian of God's chosen ones, is reaching out. Why? Because a battle is imminent, a spiritual war that will test not only your faith, but your very essence. In a world teetering on the edge of chaos, we are not left defenseless. Heaven is sounding the alarm, preparing those chosen for this moment in history to rise. This is not a message of fear, but of empowerment, a declaration of your role in the divine narrative unfolding before us. A profound dimensional shift is underway, one that affects not only the heavens but also the physical world. This shift isn't random, it's part of a divine plan to purify, to refine, and to separate light from darkness. Think of it as a great awakening. Throughout history, monumental shifts often come during periods of deep unrest, and this is no exception. Consider the story of Noah, tasked with building an ark while others scoffed. The flood wasn't just about destruction, it was about cleansing and renewal. Similarly, this dimensional shift is about preparing you, God's remnant, for what's ahead. This war is not of flesh and blood, but of spirit. Forces unseen yet potent work tirelessly to cloud your mind and lead you astray. Their weapons? Deception, fear, and temptation. Yet, you are not defenseless. Imagine a knight donning armor before battle. Your spiritual armor, faith, truth, and God's word, is your greatest protection. Each piece equips you not only to resist but to triumph. Take, for example, the story of David and Goliath. Against all odds, David, armed with faith and a sling, defeated a giant. Like David, you are called to face overwhelming odds, knowing victory is already assured through God. We often cling to false comforts, wealth, power, and societal validation. But these are mere illusions, chains that bind rather than liberate. Picture a bird trapped in a gilded cage, mistaking its confines for freedom. Take the story of Job, a man stripped of all earthly comforts. His wealth, health, and family were taken, yet his faith remained steadfast. In his suffering, Job discovered true reliance on God, a lesson that resonates today. This stripping away isn't punishment, it's purification. God is calling you out of the places that ensnare, into the wilderness where His voice can be heard clearly. Faith isn't passive, it's active. It's the weapon that silences the lies of the enemy. Every prayer, every declaration of God's promises strengthens the spiritual shield around you. Consider Daniel in the lion's den. Despite being surrounded by predators, his faith in God's protection kept him unharmed. Similarly, your prayers activate the heavenly forces assigned to defend you. Each word spoken in faith resonates in the spiritual realm, empowering angels to act on your behalf. Throughout history, remnants of faith have been God's chosen vessels for transformation. Noah, Abraham, Moses, each faced trials that seemed insurmountable. Yet their obedience to God's call led to extraordinary outcomes. In modern times, think of the underground churches thriving in places of persecution. These believers, though few in number, carry the torch of faith in the darkest corners of the world. Their courage is a testament to the power of a faithful remnant. Trials are not meant to destroy but to refine. Imagine gold being purified in fire. The process is intense, but the result is invaluable. Consider the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who faced a literal furnace for refusing to bow to an idol. Not only were they unharmed, but they emerged with a testimony that glorified God. In the same way, the trials you face are forging you into a vessel for His glory. You are not here by accident. You were placed in this generation for a divine purpose. The choices you make now will ripple through eternity. Think of Esther, who risked everything to save her people. Her courage reminds us that we are called to act, not from fear, but from faith. Like Esther, you have been chosen for such a time as this. The world is changing rapidly. Fear, division, and confusion dominate headlines, but these are signs of the times. The storm is not to be feared, but to be faced with courage. Imagine a lighthouse standing firm amidst crashing waves, guiding ships to safety. You are that lighthouse, called to shine God's light in a dark world. Heaven is watching. The angels are ready. The battle is fierce, but the victory is assured. Take a moment to reflect. Who will you serve? Will you cling to the illusions of this world, or will you rise as a warrior of light? Remember, you are not alone. Just as Archangel Michael stands as a protector, so too does God equip you with everything you need to stand firm. Your faith is the key, and your obedience is the path. Let this be your rallying cry. I am called. I am chosen. I will stand. The King is coming soon, and until that day, you are his hands, his feet, and his voice in a world desperate for redemption. Take up your sword, child of God. The time is now.